So once we start thinking about how to start a song based off of the materials that Logic kind of provides to you with combination of what you're actually trying to write, the first thing that I would definitely take advantage of is the loop library over here, and that's O to get back and forth. O like loops, I guess, or browser. But once we get the window open over here, you have all these options that Logic has basically given to you for free, sorted by instrument, genre, descriptors, scale, key signature, time signature, tempo. You could like them so that you can have a little library to go back to later. It shows you what the length of them are, what key they're in is actually pretty important. So I know that if I drag two of these that are both E minor into my pile, into my tracks, that they're going to line up, with an E minor scale, which is maybe the key that I'm writing in. They have drums, they have keyboards, they have everything. A lot of these are not downloaded for me just because they take up a ton of space. But obviously you could download them with this little arrow over here for whatever one you like. So the blue over here is going to be the audio files, and you could sort those by either audio loops, software instrument loops, which is if I had a software instrument here. Anything that's green, I could basically drag over to the software instrument, and it'll basically, well, I'll show you rather than describe it to you. Let me pull one up. So this is a clav. That it's supposed to be a clav. That's how they intended the MIDI notes that they wrote to play. But if I drag it over into the electric piano section, notice that the clav here is 100 beats per minute and my file is 130. So this is going to be a little bit slower than how it actually plays in my project, because my project's much faster than the loop. So it's going to play like this. And I think there's something written into this file here that changed the software instrument from a piano to a clav, because that's like baked into the file. So I bet if I do this for the pop keys, it'll change the instrument too. No, it stays as the clav. So I guess if you make a new MIDI file like this, it'll assign it to the clav. But if you just take the MIDI file and put it on top of the MIDI track you're already working on, the software instrument, it's still going to be the clav, but now with this MIDI information, which obviously is a much different instrument, so keep that in mind. There's a bunch of different things you can kind of take off once you have access to this loop window. So if I do like this MIDI instrument, I want to change the instrument, you have access to do that. If I like the instrument but I only want half of the loop or whatever, I can go and actually cut that out, and only take the first half, and then repeat that back to back or whatever you want to do. You can also, let me go back here and add audio loops. Excuse me. Wow, that's so hard. I love it. I'm going to drag it in to an audio track. Notice again, 128 beats per minute, 130 beats per minute on my project. So this is going to play slightly faster than the preview that it showed me. But this is the name of the track it created. This is the name of the file. I could still drag this over into a new track, and I could put it in a Drum Machine Designer. I could sample it. I could put it into Alchemy and use it as like granular synthesis if I wanted to. And then I can make a zone sampler, which we'll get into later. So say I wanted to sample this. It's going to make a new sampler file, upload this for me, and then I can change this to slice mode if I want to. And now each of these are assigned to a note on the piano. So if I hit Command K to bring up my keyboard, start playing some keyboard notes. It gets very complicated very fast if I'm not paying attention. I mean, just the possibilities are endless once you get kind of into this realm. And notice that these are all MIDI notes that I just recorded into here. So these are all modifiable. You could change the velocity, you could change the pitch, you could change the strength. Notice that the pitch doesn't actually change the pitch of the instrument at this point. It changes which sample it's pulling from. So this is F sharp. If I open the sampler, F sharp here is going to play this note. maybe not that note. That's the note. So it's not changing the pitch, it's changing the location of the slicing of which sample it's actually, chopping up. An overwhelming example to show you what the difference is there. Because if I wanted to change the pitch in this instrument, it works like a chromatic scale. This isn't, because the sample is just one sample of the clav that it's pulling from, and it's a sample for every single note. But now this one sample is being chopped up into different notes on the keyboard. So that's why this doesn't adjust the pitch, it adjusts which part of the sample you're actually working in. So don't let that confuse you, because it is confusing. Anyways, that's Apple Loops. I'm going to let you play around with that on your own time, because there's just so many possibilities to do with those.